Jaya Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Gaurachandra Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Gadadhar Jaya Srinivas Jaya Mukunda Vasudevi Jaya Haridas.
Hare Krishna. Welcome, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining us on the GBC SPT platform. You all have been participating for the last 3 weeks and with such enthusiasm that all our speakers, all the guests have been so inspired to share this wonderful knowledge and this wonderful realizations they've had from reading Caitanya caritāmṛta. So today we have the honor of having with us Her Grace Vrajalila Devi. Hare Krishna, Vrajalila Prabhu, please accept my Thank you. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation, and thank you so much for joining us here on the GBC SPT platform.
Thank you, Govinda Priya. This is a great privilege and an honor to be able to be on this platform that so many exalted devotees have been on, speaking about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Caitanya caritāmṛta. Thank you.
Thank you. Vrajalila Prabhu, most of us know Vrajalila Prabhu, but I'm going to share a little bit about her contribution to this movement. Vrajalila Prabhu carries in her heart, along with her husband, Ekavira Prabhu, she carries in her heart the spirit of her beloved Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, his compassion, his zing to just go be out there and teach the message of Lord Chaitanya is unparalleled. And you carry that mood and that spirit through these years. Every time I come in your presence, I feel this warmth of affection, love, and care that you emanate just by caring so diligently for your beloved Guru Maharaj. It's such an honor to have you on this platform. Apart from all of these wonderful qualities that are inherent, also, taking official training to be able to serve the devotees in the most effective way. For many of us who don't know, Vrajalila Prabhu and Ekavira Prabhu have actually the founders of the Institute of Applied Spiritual Technology. They've dedicated their lives to devotee care. They've assisted in the devotee care manual. They've taken certification trainings for family life. They've taken emotionally focused couple therapy certifications. They're helping devotees in so many different aspects, coping with, the so-called secular life and balancing Krishna consciousness in the most practical way. So what a valuable service you have, and you've been contributing. It's such an honor to have you here. And thank you so much for everything that you're doing and you continue to do. And it's so apt that you're speaking today on, devotee relationships, Vaishnva relationships through the Caitanya caritāmṛta. And what I hear from you, you will be highlighting appreciation of devotees. And I see that in your life throughout, how appreciative you are of the opportunities of devotees in general. So I'm going to leave you here to enlighten us with your wonderful realizations. Thank you, Srila Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Govinda Priya. I pray to the Vaishnavas that I can live up to that introduction that you so graciously gave me. And you are a bright light on this program. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Haribol. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful to be able to be, very privileged actually, to be able to be on this platform where so many amazing, wonderful, exalted devotees have spoken about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Caritāmṛta. So I will share just prayers before we start. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyana Gyana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarabhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Raghunatam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Vastetya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swami Iti Namine Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Shitatmane Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tirtha Iti Namine. Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today we're, as Govinda Priya shared, we will be speaking a little bit on two very exalted devotees from the Caitanya Caritāmṛta, and their names are Vasudev Dutt and Haridas Thakur. We will briefly share some highlights from their lives and how important they are in our Vaishnava Siddhanta, especially how important they were to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used their examples to help all of us so that we can learn how to live as Vaishnavas, be examples of Vaishnavas. And you know, in the CC, the entire Caitanya Caritāmṛta is infused with relationships. It's all about relationships. And actually, it is the best way to learn about Vaishnava relationships. I must say that I've been looking at the programs from the GBC SPT over the past month or so. And it's just been amazing, the devotees that are sharing pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and history of Lord Chaitanya, and so many amazing knowledge, so much knowledge from the CC that's there for all of us to learn about relationships. And so to understand Vaishnava relationships in the Caitanya Caritāmṛta, it's important, of course, to understand Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood, in his mood about with the Vaishnavas. And so one of his mood of how he appreciates Vaishnavas and what qualities that Vaishnavas have when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in that mood of appreciation. We see and we read that these qualities of humility, of surrender, of renunciation, and of unshakable faith. These are some of the qualities of the Vaishnavas that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he reciprocates with the devotees that embody these qualities. And so Vasudev Dutt, he was one of these very exalted devotees in the CC. We'll talk a little bit about Vasudev's life and who he is, and then we'll share how and why Lord Chaitanya appreciated him. And so in the CC, Lord Chaitanya, he shares this principle of Jiva Doya, service to all living entities, Jiva Doya. And here we see that Vasudev Dutt is such an example of Jiva Doya. And so Vasudev Dutt, he was born in Bangladesh in the village of Chanahar. He was the elder brother of Mukunda Dutt, who was a close associate of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu since childhood. We'll share a little bit about him later. And Vasudev Dutt, he had a very close friend of Shiva's Pandit and also Shivananda Sain. They had such close friendship. And it's really very nourishing to read and hear about that relationship between these devotees. When Vasudev Dutt, when he's a householder. And so as a householder, it's explained that he was very generous by nature, extremely generous. He was always giving to the residents of Navadvip, and he spent practically all of his earnings on the worship of his deities. And so Lord Caitanya became very much concerned about this liberal spending of Vasudev Dutt Prabhu. And so he requested his friend Shivananda Sain to care for him by kind of overlooking his spending. Actually, it's explained in the CC, in the Vaishnva that Shivananda Sain was actually deputed to supervise this liberal spending of Vasudev Dutt. Because as a householder, of course, the householders, one of the duties of a householder is to worship the deities. And he was known to worship his deities with such opulence. And so Shivananda Sain, his friend, became his caretaker to watch over his finances. And so in the Adalila, in the 10th, in the first chapter of Adalila, in the 10th verse, that's from 10 to 41, 10 to 41 in those verses. In the 10th chapter of the Adalila, in the 41st verse, Lord Caitanya is explaining from the Caitanya Bhagavat about this mood. Lord Chaitanya's mood is being explained. And from the Caitanya Bhagavat, Srila Prabhupada is actually citing how Caitanya was so pleased and affectionate to Vasudev Dutt. Srila Prabhupada explains that this affection that Lord Caitanya had for Vasudev Dutt, it's beyond what words can really explain. Because Mahaprabhu used to say, I am Vasudev Dutt's man. My body is meant to please Vasudev Dutt, and he can sell me anything. So he says, Lord Caitanya, he says this 3 different times that he vows to this fact that Vasudev Dutt is his, only Vasudev Dutt is his only man. And Mahaprabhu said that no one should disbelieve this statement. He also explained, which is really incredible, that this is Mahaprabhu. He's saying, my body is especially meant for Vasudev Dutt. And he would say this to all his devotees. Just imagine the Lord, the Supreme Personality, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who advented in order to glorify his devotees, in order to appreciate his devotees, in order to teach us as devotees how to care and be concerned about each other. He says that his body is meant for Vasudev Dutt, his body. So remember that pastime of Sanatan Goswami, where Lord Chaitanya told Sanatan Goswami, your body is not yours. Your body belongs to me. And so here again, we have this very precious understanding of who our bodies belong to. They belong to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so, he said, so because of Vasudev's quality, primarily the quality of him being this Paramdukkha Dukhi, this personality that is so unhappy to see the miseries of others. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appreciates him and he shares with us why he appreciates him. And so in the Madhya Lila, in the 15th chapter, in verses 159 through 180, he speaks about some of these qualities of Vasudev Dutt. And I'm going to read some of those qualities and this conversation, this beautiful conversation with Vasudev Dutt and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the Madhya Lila, starting with text 158, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Vasudev Dutt. The Lord hugged Vasudev Dutt and began to speak of his glories as if he had 1,000 mouths. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorified him, Vasudev Dutt immediately became very much embarrassed and shy. He then submitted himself, touching the Lord's feet. Vasudev Dutt told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is a conversation, a beautiful, beautiful discussion between the Lord and his devotee, Vasudev Dutt. So Vasudev says, my dear Lord, you incarnate just to deliver all conditioned souls. I now have one petition, which I wish you would accept. My Lord, you are certainly able to do whatever you like, and you are indeed merciful if you so desire. You can very easily do whatever you want. Unshakable faith. This is one of the qualities of Vasudev Dutt. He understood who Lord Chaitanya was, and he could dialogue with him about who he was and glorify him and share with him that he was, so magnanimous that he knew that he could do whatever he wanted. And then he goes on, he says, my Lord, my heart breaks. My heart breaks to see the sufferings of all the conditioned souls. Therefore, I request you to transfer the karma of their sinful lives upon my head. So this amazing request from Vasudev Dutt to Lord Chaitanya, we see in our modern day Vaishnava life. I've been very privileged and very fortunate to have been given the association of my revered spiritual master, His Holiness Bhaktitirtha Swami, who also in that mood of Vasudev Dutt said this prayer that he wanted to accept the sinful activities of people in the world, because the conditions of our world today is very devastating, and people are suffering so much. And so Vasudev Dutt, he continues, my dear Lord, let me perpetually in a hellish condition, accepting all sinful activities of all living entities. Please finish their diseased material life. This is the mood of a surrendered devotee. He surrendered to the Lord, and he's begging the Lord on behalf of the living entities in the material world. Please, I want to suffer perpetually. I think when I think about this, I just kind of I'm lost, because I cannot imagine myself doing that. just perpetually live in hell. That means continuously live in hellish condition, just to relieve the condition of the miseries of the living entities here on the planet, in material life, totally, not just on this planet, but in material life. There's so many entities in material life other than this earth planet. And so when Lord Caitanya heard Vasudev's statement, his heart became very soft. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his heart became so soft. Tears flowed from his eyes, and he began to tremble. In a faltering voice, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, accepting Vasudev Dutt as a great devotee, he had accepted Vasudev Dutt, that Vasudev Dutt he knew was surrendered. He knew that Vasudev Dutt had this amazing quality of humility. He knew that Vasudev Dutt was, he was, so much dedicated to the Vaishnavas and to Lord Chaitanya. And so he says, such statements is not at all astonishing, because you are the incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj. It appears that Lord Krishna has bestowed complete mercy upon you. There is no doubt about it, no doubt. And this is Lord Chaitanya with his devotees having this dialogue. Vasudev, you're such a great devotee. You're an incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj. And so now we understand why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he really loved the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. And so Lord Chaitanya, he continues, whenever a pure devotee, whatever a pure devotee wants from his master, Lord Krishna doubtlessly grants, because he has no other duty. Krishna has no other duty other than to fulfill the desires of his devotees. So this is understanding the mood of the Lord and the mood of the Lord's devotees. The devotees are more dear to Krishna, as is explained in Bhagavad Gita. And so he continues, if you desire the deliverance of all living entities within the universe, then all of them can be delivered, all of them, even without you undergoing the tribulations of sinful activities. So he's reassuring Vasudev that because you've made this request, and because of your compassion, because of you caring so much for the miseries of the living entities in the material world, because of this, that you are being granted, this desire, and you don't even need to think about how to fulfill the desire. He says he has no duty. Krishna has no duty. The Lord has no duty. Lord Chaitanya has no other duty other than to fulfill the desires of the hearts of the devotees. And so he said to Vasudev, he said, so if you desire the deliverance of all living entities within the universe, then all of them can be delivered. All of them. Even without you undergoing the tribulations of sinful activity. And so Lord Chaitanya continues to explain that Krishna is not incapable, for he has all potencies. Why would he induce you to suffer the sinful reactions of other living entities? He's asking this of Vasudeva. Why? It's understood just by the request, just by making that request, that the Lord will deliver the sinful living entities. And then the Lord continues, whosoever welfare you desire immediately becomes a Vaishnava. And Krishna delivers all Vaishnavas from the reactions of their past sinful activities. So just by this request of Vasudeva Dat, this mood of Paramduki, just this mood of him wanting to deliver the living entities, then Lord Chaitanya explains to him that whatever welfare you desire, whosoever welfare, whatever it is that you want, immediately these living entities will immediately become Vaishnavas, because the Lord promises that he delivers all Vaishnavas from the reactions of their past sinful activities. And then Lord Chaitanya says, let me offer my respectful obeisance unto the original personality of Godhead Govinda, who regulates the sufferings and enjoyment due to fruitive activities. He does this for everyone, from the heavenly king Indra down to the smallest insect, Indra Gopa. That very personality of Godhead destroys the karmic reactions of one engaged in devotional service. So this mood of Vasudeva Dat making this request on behalf of the living entities, Lord Chaitanya is explaining to him the principle of the Lord, the principle of the fact that the Lord is he's the one that regulates the sufferings and the enjoyments due to different fruitive activities of the living entities, due to the degree that a person is attached to material energy, due to the degree that a person is attached to wanting material enjoyment. That's being regulated. And that he explains to him that he does this, the Lord does this for everyone. So he's reassuring Vasudeva Dat, Prabhu, that this request that you have made on behalf of the living entities is so pleasing to me, so pleasing. However, the Lord, he already has this covered. And so in our own lives, we see this. We see that the devotees, the Vaishnavas, they care so much for the devotees just in terms of the GBC SPT, that they are facilitating the devotees to hear about these amazing pastimes of the Lord and the Lord's devotees from the Caitanya caritāmṛta. This is the care for the living entities. So care comes in so many different ways. And this care for the devotees is shown to us by how the Lord appreciates his devotees just by the desires of the devotees. Here, Vasudeva Dat, he's a humble, simple householder, and he feels the sufferings of the living entities. He feels the sufferings of those that are engaged in material activities. And he's crying out, he's begging the Lord. And so now we'll move quickly to the Beta Kirtan pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in these pastimes, there's amazing discovery of the devotees. There's amazing understanding of how the Lord interacts with the devotees and how the devotees interact with each other. And we'll learn a little bit more about Vasudeva Dat, this very great, exalted Vaishnava. So in this Beta Kirtan pastimes, we know that the Lord has returned back to Jagannath Puri. And of course, wherever Lord Chaitanya goes, so many devotees are coming, right? Devotees are coming. And so here we see that there are like 200 devotees that they're coming from Bengal. And all of them, they're all like very advanced devotees, they have all, they're all into kirtan, chanting the Lord's holy names, wanting to be in the association of devotees and of other Vaishnavas. That was their desire, to be in the association of other Vaishnavas. And they were so devoted to Lord Chaitanya And most importantly, they wanted to be with Lord Jagannath. They wanted to be with Lord Jagannath, with Lord Caitanya during this time, this kirtan, this pastime, during this pastime of the Beta Kirtan. And so we know that on this house was Gopinath Acharya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and they were having this conversation, and they were asking, well, how many devotees are coming? Like, who's all coming? And then Gopinath Acharya, he was saying, well, actually, I don't know any of these devotees. Who are these devotees? I don't know them. Gopinath Acharya. And then he knows the devotees. I'm sorry, Gopinath Acharya knows the devotees. However, Sarvabhauma Acharya, he doesn't know the devotees. And so, Gopinath Acharya, he's starting to, give their names, all the names of these devotees that are coming to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he's replying, this sweet transcendental sound is the special creation of the Lord, known as Prema Sankirtan, congregational chanting in love of Godhead. So here's Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and here's Gopinath Acharya, and here's all these devotees descending in Puri, 200 of them. And, it's just this glorious mood is there with the devotees, and it's all just there. This mood is just so ecstatic, because it's all based around calling on the holy names of the Lord. And so the Prataparuja, he asked Bhattacharya, he says, why have the devotees, they just came, they got to Jagannath Puri, and he's asking why these devotees have not observed the regulations for visiting a pilgrimage place, such as fasting and shaving their heads, why have they eaten prasad? Because as soon as these devotees got there, they went to honor prasad. And then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he explains to the king, he says, what you have said is right. Yes, according to the regulative principles, gathering and visiting holy places, that yes, it is proper, to bathe, and that's brahminical before you honor prasad. However, he says this is a path of spontaneous love. It's a path of just being in ecstatic love of God. This is the path that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has created for all of us. This ecstatic love of God, where we gather together as Vaishnavas in this loving mood. And we see this today, in with so many of our present modern day Vaishnavas. For example, we see His Holiness Radhanath Swami, how he has thousands of devotees that descend into these holy places. And when they descend into these holy places, it's, that mood that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu created with his disciples. We see that the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they're following in that mood, and they're creating that same mood of ecstatic love amongst the devotees. And so, but Acharya, as he's explaining to the king, he says, yes, this principle, this Brahminical principle is very important, no doubt. However, the spontaneous love, is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is all about. And then he explains to him, he says, because it's Mahaprasadam, he says that because these devotees are actually, they're getting prasadam from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. He's serving these devotees himself personally. With his own hands, he's serving these devotees. And so then he explains, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who can refuse? Who can refuse Chaitanya's invitation for prasad from his own hands? So this transcendental hand of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu serving his devotees, we can just visualize what that is like. Just imagine being in that association of Lord Caitanya and his devotees that have this amazing these exchanges of love, of care for each other. And because Bhattacharya, he's like explaining about the devotees and why they're doing what they're doing. And so he's caring for the devotees by showing this king that, yes, what you're saying is right. However, this mood of spontaneous love. And so in this assembly of these devotees all gathered together in Jagannath Puri, Lord Caitanya, he saw Vasudev Dutt. So we're back to Vasudev Dutt. And he's, as we said earlier, Vasudev Dutt is the older brother of Mukunda Dutt. And so when he saw Vasudev Dutt, he immediately became so happy. He was so happy. And he put his hand on his body, on Vasudev Dutt's body. He touched Vasudev Dutt. And he started to speak to Vasudev Dutt. And he said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Vasudev that although Mukunda is my friend from childhood, because remember, Mukunda is Vasudev Dutt's younger brother. And he explains to him, although he's you're older. He says, I nonetheless take pleasure in seeing you than in seeing him. I take even greater pleasure. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying this to Vasudev Dutt. I take greater pleasure seeing you than in seeing him. And so then Vasudev, he's very humble. He has these qualities of humility and this quality of surrender. He's saying to Vasudev, he replies to Lord Chaitanya, he says, Mukunda, he's got your association in the beginning. And he took shelter of you. He took shelter at your lotus feet. That is like his transcendental rebirth. He has been taking shelter of you for so long. And Vasudev, he immediately admitted his inferiority to Mukunda, his younger brother. And he said, although Mukunda is my junior, he said, he first received your favor. And he became transcendentally senior to me because you favored Mukunda so much. So he's superior in all good qualities. This is the gentle nature of Vasudev Dutt. This was his humility. And he's sharing with Lord Chaitanya, Mukunda is, he has these transcendental qualities because he served you. And the Lord said to Vasudev Dutt at this point, he said, I have bought 2 books from South India, and the books are being kept with Swarup Damodar, and you can get them copied. Hearing this, Vasudev became so happy. Vasudev Dutt became so happy. And every Vaishnava copied these 2 books, and these books are the Brahma Samhita and the Krishna caritāmṛta. These books are broadcasted all over the world. Now all over the world by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya's devotees, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, and by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, the representatives of Srila Prabhupada. We hear from the Chaitanya caritāmṛta about these amazing devotees and this relationship that Lord Chaitanya has with these devotees, and how Lord Chaitanya gave his affection, this amazing affection to Vasudev Dutt, because Vasudev Dutt, he was among these great souls that serve Lord Chaitanya personally, that they had association of Lord Chaitanya. He had personal association of Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya singled out Vasudev Dutt. He singled him out from so many of these amazing Vaishnavas that served him, because of these qualities that we share about what attracts Lord Caitanya, is that when devotees embody humility, when they embody surrender, when they embody renunciation, when they embody unshakable faith, then it's guaranteed that the Lord will reciprocate with the devotees. And so this is the story of Vasudev Dutt. This story is very important for all of us. And I can say, especially for me, it holds a special place in my heart because of my spiritual master and how endeared he was to Vasudev Dutt. We recently heard from Srila Radhanath Maharaj, actually just yesterday, and Srila Radhanath Maharaj was sharing with us about a short pastime he had during that time that he spent with my spiritual master, during that very intense period he spent with him. And he said it was the appearance day of Mukunda Dutt. But this is, of course, Vasudev Dutt's older brother. And he said that to my Gurudev, our revered Gurudev, to His Holiness Bhaktitirtha Swami. And so he mentioned to him, it's Mukunda Dutt's appearance day. And Bhaktitirtha Maharaj, he was so happy. He was so excited. And Radhanath Maharaj, he said, in a voice like a little boy, like a child, like a young person, he said, oh, this is the brother of Vasudev Dutt. Maybe today I can leave my body. And there was intense prayers on that day from he called all the devotees, and everyone was praying because he wanted to leave on that day. However, that was not arranged. He did not leave on that day. And so Radhanath Maharaj tells the story, and he told us the story yesterday, and we were all like just kind of, just like so grateful and so thankful that here we have this amazing personality, Vasudev Dutt, who's so humbly sharing about the relationship between his brother and Lord Caitanya. And we see that Vasudev Dutt, how, his whole life was based on service to the Lord and caring for the devotees, caring for not just the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the devotees, people all over, living entities all over that may not know that they are devotees of the Lord. And he prayed in that mood to relieve the distress. And this is the mood that His Holiness Bhaktitirtha Maharaj also offered prayers. And so we want to, move on a little bit to share just a bit about another great Vaishnava that Lord Caitanya gave so much mercy to, and that's Haridas Thakur. And so Haridas Thakur, he, as we know, he's an Namacharya, the Acharya of the Holy Name, and the holy names of the Lord, that's Lord Chaitanya's movement. Lord Chaitanya came to give us the holy names of the Lord. Our whole, Srila Prabhupada, his whole life, Srila Prabhupada came, as an elderly person to America to bring this message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in this mood of Srila Prabhupada, he's crying out to all of us to give this to the living entities all over the planet, give this mercy to living entities, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. This is the whole purpose of our ISKCON organization, is to be able to give this blessing, this special mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because this is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, right? Is to give the holy name of the Lord. And so Haridas Thakur, we're briefly going to share some things about Haridas Thakur, about his passing away. the passing away of Haridas Thakur. We know Haridas Thakur, he was born in what was considered a low birth, and we know that he was a Muslim, and we know that he was very humble because of taking that birth. In the association of the devotees, there's so many pastimes in the CC about the humility of Haridas Thakur. We know Haridas Thakur was very renounced, that he wouldn't eat or sleep until he finished his prescribed number of japa, right? 300,000 names of the Lord. That's like about 190 rounds. And we also know his unshakable faith. He has so much faith in the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he has this mission, which is to chant the holy names of the Lord. He had that fate of chanting the holy names of the Lord. He took it upon himself to be exemplary for all of us in the Vaishnava community of chanting the Lord's holy name. And I share this pastime. This is a very dear pastime for me, because I'm so much always crying out, dear Lord, please let me enter this mood of Haridas Thakur, of taking your names and really, really absorbing myself in your names, really connect with your holy names, because this is the mission and this is my prayer. And I know that this is the prayer of all Vaishnavas. And so Lord Chaitanya, so here we see that Lord Chaitanya, the mercy that he gave to Haridas Thakur because of this unshakable faith. So I'll just briefly try to share some of these pastimes. We don't have very much. We know that that Govinda, he went one day to serve. Govinda is a personal servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he went to serve Haridas Thakur some remnants of Jagannath's Prasad. And when he saw Haridas, he saw him chanting. He was lying down and he was chanting. And Govinda asked him, please get up and take this Prasad, please take it. And Haridas Thakur said, no, I'm fasting. I have not yet finished my rounds. So how can I eat? I can't eat because I'm chanting. And Govinda said, it's Mahaprasad. And so saying this, he took a little portion of it, just took a little portion. And then the next day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went to Haridas and inquired from him, Haridas, are you well? Are you okay? What's going on, Haridas? Are you all right? And Haridas offered his obeisance to the Lord, and he replied, my body's all right, but my mind and my intelligence are not all right. My mind and my intelligence are not well. And that's why. Why did he say that? Because he wasn't chanting, had to finish his rounds. He says, he said, my disease is that I cannot finish my rounds. I cannot finish my japa. And so the Lord says, but you're old. Now you're old, Haridas. You can reduce your number of rounds. You don't need to chant so many rounds. However, Haridas Thakur, he was just so dedicated to chanting these rounds. And so we know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu begged him to please reduce his fixed number of rounds. And Haridas Thakur, he tells him, my Lord, by your mercy, you made me dance in so many, many ways. I've eaten prasad with so many of your most gracious devotees. And he tells him, he shares with him, I just want to continue chanting. He says, with my tongue, I will chant your holy name. And this is my desire. And then he begs Lord Chaitanya, kindly let me give up my body in this way. Oh, merciful Lord, by your mercy, it is possible. Kindly grant this desire. And so then Lord Chaitanya, of course, we know that I'm just briefly sharing this pastime just because of this relationship between Lord Chaitanya and Haridas Thakur, how Haridas Thakur's unshakable faith in the holy names made Lord Chaitanya just so devoted to him, to this amazing Vaishnava. And we know that Lord Caitanya, he actually, after Haridas Thakura left his body, Lord Caitanya carried Haridas Thakura, carried him in his arms, and the devotees were all chanting together, all glorifying Haridas Thakura, this amazing Vaishnava that is such a surrendered soul, so surrendered to the holy names of the Lord, so surrendered to the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so by the mercy of Haridas Thakura, by the mercy of Vasudev Dutt, there's no way that I personally am so unqualified can really share the pastimes of these devotees. I can only remember that this verse from the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna tells Arjuna, those who are my direct devotees are actually not my devotees, but those who are the devotees of my servants are factually my devotees. Those who are the devotees of my servant are factually my devotees. So I beg to be the servant of the servants of the devotees. I beg to be able to chant the holy names of the Lord and to be able to help to share the holy names to living entities on the planet. I thank you so much. I thank the GBC SBT for allowing me to be here. Thank you very, very much.
What a heartwarming talk, Vrajalila Prabhu. Thank you so much. Filled with so many wonderful realizations. We have so many comments coming in from devotees all over the world practically. Ananda Rupa here says, so much nectar. I can't resonate enough. And here we have a question. If we can take a couple questions, will that be okay?
Sure, thank you.
So here we have Tirumala Devi, and she's saying, this has been so heartwarming. Thank you. How do we aspire to imbibe the mood of these amazing devotees, knowing that we are very far from them in terms of our own qualifications? Such a practical question.
Yes. Thank you so much, Tirumala. Thank you very much for this beautiful question. Yes, I find myself in that same position. I'm so very unqualified. However, what I can say from my personal experience is having the association of those devotees that are having this beautiful connection or this beautiful reciprocation from Lord Caitanya and from Lord Chaitanya's devotees. There are many devotees in our midst, in our ISKCON organization, very many that are sharing their knowledge, the knowledge that they've received from Srila Prabhupada. They're sharing the knowledge from the Caitanya caritāmṛta, and they're so exemplary. If we simply develop the ear to listen and the eyes to see, we can find these devotees and take shelter of them. There's so many in our beautiful ISKCON organization serving Srila Prabhupada. They are servants of the servant.
Such a beautiful answer, Vrajalila Prabhu. Yes, association. You become what you associate with. And
yes.
Any that we want to develop, even if it means association in the mind, just appreciating, coming back to the topic that you began with. When we appreciate devotees, we associate with their good qualities. And it's
yes,
so
yes.
to invite them.
Yes. Yes, and this is, thank you so much, Govinda Priya, because this is the mood of these pastimes. Lord Chaitanya is appreciating these devotees for these amazing qualities that they exemplify. And like you're saying, yes, if we simply appreciate these devotees that are here with us in our modern day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu movement, that are doing so much on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, just like this program for 6 weeks to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Parents' Day is coming up. And it's just so beautiful to be able to hear from all of these exalted souls. There's so many souls that we can appreciate that are serving Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for reminding me that this is our theme, appreciating the devotees.
Thank you. This was such a wonderful presentation and so heartfelt. You know, many devotees have come on this platform, and one of them, I forget who it was exactly, but I think it was one of the Maharajas who said that we are going to make it to the pages of Caitanya caritāmṛta just simply being a part of this movement. Vaishnava Prabhu likes to say, just be alive. Yes. And you're ready to inherit. And similarly, just by, you know, hearing from you and seeing your service to His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami, and then to all of your God siblings and beyond, has been so inspirational. Thank you for your example. Thank you for your life of devotion. And, you know, we're here, so much appreciation is coming for your talk today. Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Mataji, for this nectar. I just have one question that's lingering in my mind. You know, can you hear me?
We missed you for a minute. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think the internet was fluctuating. So when 20 years back, when I came to Krishna consciousness, the spirit was really just do everything, austerity, do whatever it takes, you know. But slowly and gradually, as we're aging and the movement is progressing, devotees have started to become conscious about you know, what's practical and what's not practical. And then sometimes I feel in my own mind, I have this conflict that, you know, I have to get out of my comfort zone to be able to do something. And then a part of me says that, no, I need to take care of my health. I need to take care of my family. I need to take care of. How do we balance this and reconcile this feeling of wanting to do a lot at the same time knowing what's really practical? And is practical a word in the definition of a devotee?
Well, thank you so much, Govinda Priya. I think you are quite an example. Somehow you are able to negotiate caring for your husband, caring for your children, making yourself available for the GBC SPT, making yourself available for the Vaishnavi Sangha, making yourself available to coordinate with devotees for all different types of programs. I think you are an example of a devotee that definitely coordinate their time with Krishna in the center. That is the main thing. That Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day is coming on the 28th of March, and devote all of us as a global community. We can focus our attention at this time on the mercy that we've received from Lord Chaitanya to be this kind of balanced devotee, because Lord Chaitanya, he's taught us by the example of his devotees. Look at Vasudeva Dutt. He's a householder and he sent someone to help him manage his money. You know what I mean? So we need to reach out for help, certainly, to help us keep the balance. And we need to keep what's important in the center, which is the Supreme Lord, and caring, you know, for the Lord's mission, which is simply to chant the holy name and give the holy name to others. If we do that nicely, then everything else will fall in place. We do need to care for ourselves spiritually, physically, mentally, socially. Yes, we need to become aware of our whole person. That is important. However, if we keep Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we keep appreciating Vaishnavas, then undoubtedly, Lord Chaitanya will arrange help for us, just like he did with Vasudeva Dutt.
What a beautiful answer, Mother Vrajalila. Really, thank you. We Another question, and I believe it's from Kamaniya, even though she's using Sadhvi Sangha account, but let's read that. So she's, Hare Krishna, Mother Vrajalila, thank you for a wonderful class. How do we talk the fine line of developing deep friendships with fellow Vaishnavas while still maintaining Vaishnava etiquette, of not becoming too familiar? It can be so easy to go in one extreme or the other, too familiar or too formal, which sometimes feels impersonal. A question on balance in relationships.
Thank you so much, Kamaniya. Thank you. That friendship question is so key to Vaishnava relationship. And I share from a modern day Vaishnava relationship that I have seen in my own life. I have seen His Holiness Radhanath Swami and His Holiness Bhaktitirtha Maharaj demonstrate what it means to have Vaishnava friendship without familiarity, that can breed contempt at times. And in this mood of just honoring and serving each other in order to serve the global community, right? In order to be present for our global community. So I have seen that this friendship that's based on love and appreciation at the core of all the relationships. If somehow we can constantly keep that as the core, as the foundation of friendship, that is based on appreciation, it's based on acceptance of those persons for whoever they are, wherever they are. And I've seen that with Radhanath Swami and Bhaktitirtha Maharaj over the years. They've walked the path together at times. Sometimes they've had to do things in separate ways. They've always maintained that friendship. And we see that towards the end of Bhaktitirtha Maharaj's life, who was present for him? His friend put everything aside for that friendship, for being example of that friendship. So how do we maintain this without familiarity, without being too familiar? How do we maintain this by keeping this mood of love and care in the center? Is to remember we're servants. We're servants of the servant of the servant. So we serve the devotees, even though we're friends to the devotees. Radhanath Swami came to serve Bhaktitirtha Maharaj. They're friends. He served him. He was there with him every single day for all the days that Maharaj was, that my revered Guru Maharaj, that he was in that dying stage. And that was 8 weeks every day. At the end, we thought Radhanath Swami himself was going to leave his body. So this kind of friendship we need to have in our devotee communities. These are the examples that we look to. These are the examples. And I just feel so honored and so privileged and so blessed to have been able to be a part of that association. I also see that association as I, try to learn and imbibe more of our Krishna consciousness mission in the mood of devotees like Brijan Prabhu and Sachinanda Maharaj, that friendship of wanting to give the holy names, I see that in our Vaishnavis, in Sutarma, in Radha Dasi, in Rukmini Devi, in Vishaka, in Govinda Priya. This friendship is based on us lovingly wanting to share what we have been given. This is friendship. This is real friendship. Yeah. And when that's there, the lines won't even matter so much. We don't even think about the lines. We just want to come together and joyfully just offer what we have received. Thank you, Caitanya, for Kamaniya for that question. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vrajalila Prabhu, for that wonderful answer. And, I can't even believe it's the end of the hour. And we've spent the hour together. Thank you so much for all your realizations and your life of devotion. We hope that we can have you back again on this platform soon to hear from you and hear from your deep realizations. Thank you so much.
Govinda Priya, thank you very much for the service that you do. And I thank the GBC SPT for giving me this amazing opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to our viewers for your deep, insightful questions, for your participation, for keeping this, so-called impersonal medium so personal. It's amazing how much we're able to interact with devotees all over the world and connect with them and hear from them. So thank you for your active participation. Please take a moment to subscribe to the GBC SPT website. It's flashing on our screen right here. If you haven't done so yet, we have an amazing line of speakers coming up that you don't want to miss. And follow on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you very much. Ananta Shesh Prabhu is in the background helping us with tech all the way from Mayapur, and to the entire team of the GBC SPT whom I'm representing over here. So thank you very much, everyone. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare